far as I can see, the bridge is our only option at the moment. Deep below this chasm you can hear the sound of rushing water. Well, no shit. It doesn't look like a place we should be going. Yeah, I think there's the end of the map. Ghostly archers. Ghostly smoke forms the shape of a knight in armor. Okay.
Well met, friend.
Two of them.
I will strike you down, or fall in the attempt. Surrender, or prepare to meet your end. Surrender,
Let the
or
earth
prepare
take
to
you.
meet your end.
And they have enchanted arrows. And there's quite a few of them. Well, they're not that strong. Ten points of fire damage, only a couple of points of cold damage. I'm not sure if I want to stay and fight here. If we're lucky, they'll follow us. In melee, we're much stronger. This pillar is covered in strange runes. Runes are all the same, repeating over and over the following words. Glorious is the memory of the Earlord, great is his purpose. Trace your finger over the runes. As you run your hands over the symbols, you feel a terrible sadness come over you. You feel as though a great weight presses against your chest. It is the feeling of an overpowering guilt that has been submerged and denied for years, which suddenly comes forward into your consciousness. This feeling comes from the stone itself. It is an emotion felt by the one who carved these runes. The message written in the runes is upfront, like a false smile worn by a man who has only sorrow in his heart. In your subconscious you feel the words, heavy is the burden of my past, terrible is the fate that I build. You imagine yourself walking along the edge of a cliff, just below the castle walls. There you find an entrance to a cave below the castle. In your subconscious you feel the word It keeps repeating. So some kind of cave at the lower levels of the mountain range. There's not necessarily any reason to try to break through here. We are in a very, very, very vulnerable spot. This gate is made of thick wood, reinforced with metal bars. It will take a lot of work to break it down. Okay.
I ask you to
Fail.
follow me now.
No problem.
There's a cave there. beneath the tower. Manticore. Not a problem if we can quickly rush it.
Okay.
That's it for you! Take that! Well met, friend.
It appears that this piece of masonry fell through a hole in the ceiling. You may be able to climb on the rubble here and into the hole. The air here is choked with dust. These doors lead out to the walls of the keep. Be back.
I will strike you down, or fall in the attempt.
How the fuck do you get there? I'm not sure you do. Anything in the... Okay, probably opened the gate, and then what? Doesn't look like there's anything really interesting there, but if we get access to it, we might as well take and visit. Door leads to the courtyard of the keep. Pretty much just a well and some firewood. Exit.
Let the earth take you! No, I just can't get this done.
We have no choice. They must. I ask you to follow me now. We have no choice.
Problem.
They must be eliminated.
Taste of my wrath!
I ask you to
No
follow
idea what
me
they're... I think they're
now.
trying to attack the gate.
I will attempt it.
That's the tower. Oh, there's ghostly archer somewhere.
We have no choice. They must be eliminated. Surrender.
Longbow +3. Still think the mighty is more valuable. Almost everything starts to have a little bit of damage resistance at some point. We can get rid of this. It's basically the same bow, except, well, it has the couple of acid arrow attacks, but frankly I'm not really in the business of using those type of attacks. At this point they would be so weak that it's basically not really worth even bothering with.
Let the earth take you!
Where the fuck is that? Yeah, somewhere. Oh. Seriously, where the fuck is are the arrows coming from? There. It's in the main tower, I imagine. It would have been easier to target using a different camera mode, sort of forget that they exist sometimes. Your journal has been... At last, I enter the tower of the Prophet King, the tower that touches the sky. Here, within these walls, I shall find the answers I seek. Spoiler alert. Suddenly, the room before you is lit with firelight. This pillar is covered with writing, some still legible. In the 14th century, a darkness shall come upon the world. It is a darkness that no sight can penetrate, and it shall cover the lands and devour time itself. That which is destined cannot be denied. Thrice he shall be betrayed, once by the kindness of a friend, once by the tears of a stranger, and once by the loyalty of... And by his hand shall begin the century of sorrow, final century of this world. In the shattered peaks he shall build a tower that touches the sky, and there the rest of the pillar's surface has crumbled off the stone's surface. You notice nothing extra, okay. Should we analyze this further? 14th century, that's the correct time, I guess. Darkness shall come upon the world, so century of sorrow. It is a darkness that no sight can penetrate, and it shall cover the lands and devour time itself. So I'm not quite sure what that means. It could mean the end of the world, obviously, but that's an interpretation. And it shall cover that which is destined cannot be denied. Thrice he shall be betrayed, once by the kindness of a friend. I don't know. It depends who the he is in this case is. Once by the fears of a stranger, once by the loyalty of something. So kindness, fear, and loyalty. That could mean anything. By his hand shall begin the century of sorrow, final century of this world. Well, that seems to indicate that it's talking about the end of the world. From the north he came, riding upon the black horses of the Erdenar, and with him came the salvation of the land. From the line of the kings of Aselgard had fallen, divided by petty ambitions, and even as the Jantar horde of Thrul massed upon the eastern border, the Beleriand armies retreated into the cities, splintered into disorganized factions that could no more than slow the approaching tide. and tales of the great warrior of the north who could see into the minds of men. Thus the legend became true. Terrible was this vengeance upon the Juntar hordes. Those who had put Kieran Hall to flame were driven to desperate retreat, but none found safety in the windswept plains, for the Urlord saw their actions before they themselves thought to make them, and everywhere they were met with the swords of his warriors. I know of this war. My grandfather fought the Jontar on the plains of Lahirim. He was slain along with his entire company of warriors as they stood in defense of Kieranhold. So Uther Palandras avenged his death? Yes, I suppose he did. Besieged by the final army of Thrall, and would have surely fallen, but the Earlord walked through the horde as though it were a rabble of urchins. Straight was his path to the heart of the Jontar army, and barely did he pause as his sword cleaved the warlord himself in two. People would have no princely noble to sit upon the throne of Asgard. The bishop saw this, for perhaps it was the will of Pallas himself that the crown should rest upon the brow of the man who had saved the kingdom. I wonder, are all these prophecies from the same perspective? I mean, thinking about a war, if one side suddenly gets some kind of a leader that is clearly able to see the future to the extent that he can counter all your tactics, or sees everything you do beforehand and prepares for them, and there's one god, Pallas maybe, supporting him, so are all these prophecies from the same perspective, from the same source? Or are they competing versions? Be careful. Though this place is deserted, it may still hold much danger. Anya, may I speak with you a moment? What is it? I just want to say that whatever happens, you can trust me. You know that, don't you? Yes, I know that. And you can trust me too, Meridak. Thank you, Anya, I appreciate that. Okay. Scroll. As you unfurl this old scroll, some of it crumbles to the ground. A few fragments remain legible. To now submit my report. As you had foreseen, Erlord, the Sardathian general was indeed planning to disobey the order of his king and to move his army across the hills of Kumer to attack the city of Jalbarad. But be it known that your warning has been delivered and actions have been. Nevertheless, did not know of any man arriving in that chantry recently. In fact, no one has been admitted into the presence of the weavers for these 5 years. His Eminence sends his regrets that he could not be more helpful in this matter, but he wished to present you with these precious jewels from the shores of the Camporian in gratitude for. Should I take these with us? I don't see anything particularly interesting as information, but they could be related to quests. I'm guessing they're referring to Dreamweavers again. Never denied the king of access to them. Although I suppose it makes sense. Finely wrought suit of full plate embroidered surcoat. It would cost a fortune. Maybe it's valuable.
Weighted down too heavily, I fear.
It's not particularly useful, especially full armor. Another silver coin. Yep, it's definitely the same. So these would be the rooms of the knights of the Lord. Agamir. This lengthy journal once belonged to Sir Agamir Uthrensin, Knight of Belheria. Agamir was the right-hand man of Uther Palandras since the very beginning. He too grew up in the wildlands of the north, and first fought by the side of the Prophet King in the war against the giant king Jarzak in 1118. His journal recounts some of those early days. Never have I seen a man so brave, or known a mind so wise. His blade never falters, and his steps never hesitate as he walks into battle. There is an aura about this man. It radiates from him a confidence that infuses us with strength we never felt before. But there is more than just courage in him. There is wisdom. His judgment is without fault, his justice without flaw. Never did he raise his hand in unfair anger. Never did he think to punish one who is innocent. This is the stuff of legend, the flesh of history. I am honored to stand at his side and will do so as long as he wishes it, lest death release me from his service. The adventures and campaigns described further are indeed legendary. Uther Palandras not only saved the kingdom several times from dire threats, like the invasion of the Jandar barbarians, but he often ventured forth into distant lands to bring justice and defend the defenseless. If the text of this journal is to be believed, the Prophet King was indeed extraordinary man. Skipping further, you find passages which describe events in 1156, when King Uther abdicated the throne. At midnight we shall depart. I shall bid farewell to my beloved Althea with a kiss as she sleeps. She cannot understand how I can leave, now in these times of our greatest happiness. I have told her of the vow that I have made, but I know that she cannot understand. It is the vow that shall never break, nor for love, nor even for God. Long ago I have placed my loyalty in the hands of the Lord, and he has never let me down. I do not even ask him the reason why we leave, for I know that it is wise and just. We are all blind to the thing that he sees, and I have learned to trust him without hesitation, and thus I leave my life behind. For in my soul I am bound to him forever. I have written Althea a letter and sealed it with my tears. She may never forgive me, and may never understand, but my choice is unwavering. The next few pages have short entries separated by long periods of time, as the Lord and his men were busy searching the Dalthomir mountains and building the tower. There is talk of a ritual of some kind, but Sir Agamir clearly was not involved in its details. At the end there is a final disturbing entry. The Lord has made his will known to us. It is an act of terrible cruelty that we must commit. It is an atrocity for which our souls shall forever be damned. But it has been willed by the Lord, and we shall do his bidding without a question. We are all blind to the things that he sees. He acts upon purposes that are larger than the nations of men. They are larger than the lives of innocents and the souls of warriors. We shall be damned, for the gods will look upon this act as atrocity. But even Pallas himself cannot see the purposes of the Lord. Even the gods have not such sight. He has told us that the lives of accounted unborn lie in the balance of things, and the act that he would have us do can tip the scale to save millions. Of course we shall obey. Tomorrow the ritual will take us outside of time. Though our souls may be damned, our bodies shall do his bidding. This is the will of the Lord. Well, it gives weight to the theory that they were responsible for the northern Norrenshire incident.
Well met, friend.
In order to save millions, they slaughtered a village of halflings, although they don't mention it by name, so it could be the misleading. They did something they considered themselves to be an atrocity. That's something that's much more reliable. What it ends up being, though, is still... This kitchen has not seen use in minutes. Ghostly visage scroll. The atrocities Norrenshire is still speculation. I'm sort of very wary about jumping into conclusions in these games. Sometimes there's an unnecessary amount of vagueness in games. That what I mean by unnecessary is that normal people would never talk like that from an incident. I guess the biggest example that comes to mind recently is Fallout 4. Game starts with you basically being put in cryogenic hibernation. So a lot of the main plot related things have to do with the passage of time, and especially between different events in the storyline. So the problem comes from the fact that that means the game designers themselves want to obfuscate the exact passage of time in basically in every step of the way, which leads to the sort of silly dialogue between people. They refuse to use exact or even remotely exact passage of times when they describe events. There's always some kind of very vague terms that could mean months or years or decades. That sort of usage of language when talking about time. The problem is it's abnormal, so it sort of sticks out to you. You know that there's gonna be some kind of a major reveals or things like that tied to the passage of time, because it's constantly referred in a very odd way, abnormal way. So while it's never really spoken out aloud, it sticks out. And I feel sort of something similar is happening here with these incidents. Like, no one refers to anything in any specific way. They're talking about it in very vague terms. It's like the people themselves wouldn't use that kind of language. It's the ghostly night lost in thought. It's the designer of the game trying to basically obfuscate something, so it can be revealed later in some kind of a dramatic event. And it's the problem is, if they would talk more normally about it, it might actually be some kind of a reveal. But because they are trying to keep it hidden, trying to not mention any real details, it's it starts to stick out to the point that your mind starts to go over the possibilities, and while you might not be 100% certain that you've guessed right, you've probably got the right option in your mind already if you've devoted any kind of time to think about it. So it's sort of a problem in your effort to keep things a little bit unclear. You sort of draw attention to what you are trying to possibly keep hidden. Ghost Knight.
Yes?
Yes. Who's there? I'm Anir. No. I'm Ania Melimian. Who are you?
Show yourself. Do not hide from me, coward.
I'm not hiding, you mad spirit.
Lies.
I'm here right in front of you.
Who are you speaking with, Ania?
Do you not see him, Malarian?
Do I not see who?
There's a ghost here, a ghost of one of the Prophet King's knights.
There's no one here.
He must be invisible to you both.
Quote me not, demon. I shall not listen to more of your blasphemies.
I'm no demon. What blasphemies are you talking about?
I shall not utter them here. That is what you wish, I know, but you shall not take my soul.
You're mistaken, spirit. I'm not who you think.
Why do you call me that, spirit?
You are a ghost. Do you not know this?
A ghost? Nonsense. I'm Farudim Arthanal.
You're a spirit. Stop lying to yourself.
It is you who lie, demon, and I shall be rid of you.
Okay. Fuck you! Hmm. Letter. Although this letter is yellowed with age, it was kept in a dry place and has remained quite legible. Dear Galician, I cannot express the pride that I feel whenever I think of what you have accomplished. You would have thought that the son of an old blacksmith would have risen to such. Who would have thought that the son of an old blacksmith would have risen to such heights of honor and glory? Your mother and I still talk of the day of your knighthood ceremony, and still take great satisfaction from the wide eyes of those who listen. The flag given to us by King Palandras is kept in my chest as the most precious of possessions. We are so very proud of you, my dear son. I do not know where you are or what mission you have embarked upon. Yeah, this is sort of weird to read because there's random capitalization of some words. I am sure it is for the greatest and wisest of purposes. Nothing is more important than the duty of a knight to his king. Nothing is greater than obedience to his command. I am deeply grateful and humbled that the king had seen fit to send his messenger to us with word of your well-being, and dearly hope that this letter made its way into your hand. How I would wish to see you again, my pride and joy, but I wish still more that you will serve your king with the honor befitting a knight, obey his wise command, be true to your vow, and think of us, Galician, when your tasks are complete and there is time to rest. We are always thinking of you with greatest affection. Yours, the signature is impossible to decipher. Now what? Ornate throne. You feel the throne beckon you to sit. A A vision of events past.
And so the time has come. The shadow shall rise, but it shall be banished. The innocent shall die, but the uncounted shall live. The century of sorrow must not come to pass. This is my will. So it begins.
Aleph. Kadar. Thorium. ACT.
We have no choice. They must be eliminated.
This door is engraved with golden runes signifying rest and peace.
No, I just can't get this done.
So we need a key. Poison is dead. These slightly stronger skeletons are magically altered after their creation to a generally more potent foe. Green ooze with revolting smell emits from the fists of this creature. I have walked through the poison fields. So we need some kind of a...
Stand your ground.
Murdoch
friends.
has poison immunity amulet.
We have no choice. They must be eliminated.
I'm just gonna borrow the amulet of health for a moment.
Stand your ground, friends.
No problem.
Marshland leather, immunity to poison. Poison level 1 on a sky. Little antidotes. Okay, this seems totally optional.
We have no choice. They must be eliminated.
Name it. I have crossed the cliffs of fire.
You must fall for the greater good.
Yeah, I think I have the best fire resistance item, the greater rope fire resistance.
Stand your ground, friends. I am weighted down too heavily, I fear.
I will attempt it.
Rope of fire resistance. Flame dagger. No damage. It does 1 point of damage and combusts a target. So it basically does no real physical damage, it just ignites them. Elemental protection. So there's random loot concerning the element, armor concerning the element, and a weapon concerning the element.
We have no choice. They must be eliminated.
So you keep saying. There's at least 2 more, I'd say. Restless dead. What's your theme? That's I think that's a mind control gas of some sort. As in, it might stun or something like that. What the fuck was that? And yet I find neither rest nor peace. Okay, I'm a
Stand your ground, friends.
bit concerned for what we'll find here.
No problem.
Why does the restless dead just pop up constantly? Okay, the yellow lights that surround the skeleton give it the ability to sometimes raise again once it has fallen, but can self-resurrect from time to time.
We have no choice. They must be eliminated.
Yeah, I think that the body disappears, it's going to self-resurrect. No, if it doesn't leave remains, it's going to self-resurrect. I would imagine it's some kind of percentage point thing, like 50-50 chance of self-resurrection at once. I have no idea what that effect is, so no way
Stand
to
your
prepare
ground,
for it.
friends.
Mind spell. I think we have a reasonable chance of resisting it during the duration here. Bestow curse. Reduce saving throws will. Burden. Ability score penalty. Arcane spell failure. These are all cursed items.
I will attempt it.
Remove curse, basically.
I am weighted down too heavily.
So I'm
I
guessing
fear.
it's a curse effect of some sort then.
We have no choice. They must be eliminated.
Still, no problem. Went well.
No, I just can't get this done.
Yeah, this is suspicious. He's con... He's com... co- blah, blah, blah. He's complaining about something. That means there's traps nearby. And there's darkness. Can't see shit. Life Stealer. The Life Stealer is a skeleton enchanted with negative energy. Yeah, I don't want to get anywhere near that. It's fairly weak though. Negative energy is life stealing, level draining. Murdoch's the only one immune to that. Okay, I see traps. Yeah, it's a room full of traps.
Stand your ground, friends.
No problem.
For I have looked upon the end of days. I can't see anything, but it's so dark that I shouldn't be seeing anything anyway. Yeah. I think I'm gonna firebolt him.
We have no choice. They must be eliminated.
No. She's shooting at the door.
We have no choice. They must be eliminated. Stand your ground, friends.
No problem.
It's very hard to see anything.
We have no choice. They must be eliminated.
A whip. Barbed whip. One hit wounding, only usable by chaotic. Armor of Thorns. Vampiric touch level 1 when hit. So heavy armor that heals you when you get hit.
I am weighted down too heavily, I fear.
Bone Ring. Level and ability drain immunity. I'll take it. And at this stage, I'm starting to be very glad that I actually went back and sold all the
We
crap.
have no choice.
There's no
They
way I
must
could have
be
handled all this
eliminated.
extra weight otherwise. Quarters of the Prophet King. This door has not been opened in ages. The air in this room is heavy, as if burdened by 100 memories. These are his quarters. Here we shall find our answers. Hopefully, at least. These flowers are not dead, for they were never alive. They are carved from wood and painted to appear alive, just like all the other plants in this room. At first you are surprised to see that the sand in this hourglass is still falling, but then you realize that it is not sand at all, but solid granite. It is carved to appear like sand falling down, but frozen in time. Note who. Prescriptus Necronomicus. Pages of this tome have been inscribed with recipes for a variety of necromantic spells. When a page is read, the ink vanishes but the spell is released. Many of the pages are blank, suggesting that the tome has been used quite extensively. There is a bookmark on one of the blank pages. A learned wizard might be able to divine what spell was once written here. Animate Death, Circle of Death, Daze, Death Armor, Ghoul Touch, Scare, Vampiric Touch. We could go back to the wizard to ask about this, but at the same time we would use the second of our 3 uses for the Stone of Recall. I don't think so. We're gonna have to probably use it to get back to the Elven City anyway. This can wait. And there was a note. This note was tucked between the pages of an old book. Remarkably, it is quite legible. Always there is something that is unseen, always some strand of cause that is hidden between the effects. I have looked upon my task for these last 7 years, and still I have not mapped the terrain of its passing. Darkness remains, and from within it doubt dares to reach out its hand. I know that my plans cannot be undone by the struggles of my enemies, but I fear that they may be thwarted by the kindness of a friend. And though I look deeply into the darkness, my sight fails to pierce its shroud. This book contains a collection of legends concerning the mythical beast called dragons. You'll notice some notes that were hastily scribbled on the inside of the back cover. This night I saw its shape again, more clearly. The one who cast this shadow has a human form. It is unnaturally tall, with legs and arms as long as a full-grown man. Or perhaps that is a distortion. Perhaps the length is a reference not to a physical dimension, but to a span of time. Nevertheless, it is clear to me that there is a being who shall be behind this atrocity. My enemy's face shall yet be revealed. Lore of the Worms. Erlord's Golden Key. It seems strange that this humble room should be the final home of the legendary Prophet King. Beyond the window, you can see the majestic peaks of the Daltamir Mountains. A normal large shield. Ceremonial plate. Although this suit of armor was fashioned more for ceremony than for battle, it still offers excellent protection. It's basically a full plate. And this didn't really help us all that much. Well, we got the key. Telescope. This strange device consists of a tapered tube with glass discs on either side. You see a magnified image of the northern clouds. They seem dark and foreboding. Clouds whirl and form into a dark knot lit by flashes of lightning. The storm grows quickly, spreading from north toward you. It is like a great animal, hungry and violent, that seeks to devour the world. The storm grows until it covers the entire sky. Lightning rages through it continuously now. scorching the earth below until the clouds are red with the flame of 1,000 fires, and suddenly the storm breaks, the clouds dissipate and vanish, and beyond them there is nothing. The horizon is gone, leaving only a void so dark that it lacks even the color of night. Overcome with the force of the vision, you jerk your head back away from the device. This might be a good place to rest before going to lower levels. Doesn't seem like there's any threat here to us. Not gonna get a level up out of this. Yeah, 7,000 experience points. No way. Only those who are worthy may enter the final resting place of Uther Palandras, Earlord and King. It's this. ACT. Just making sure there are no names starting with the same letter. Like, I have deciphered the riddle in the Earlord's Keep. A door has opened before me, beckoning me to enter. Beyond it I shall find the tomb of Uther Palandras and the answers I seek. Tomb level 1. How many levels are we talking about then? In the 6 nights. Is that something written there? Know that you enter the tomb of Uther Palandras, prophet and king. Be humble before the greatest of men, and do not presume to judge that which you do not understand.
Okay. Okay.
The past is a memory. Glorious is the memory of the Earlord. The future is purpose. Great is the purpose of Earlord. There's a piece of paper there. Four notes. What horrors have you carved for us now? Does it give you pleasure to torture me so? You have shown me the deed that I shall commit, knowing full well that it will rend my soul apart. The murder of innocent, and how you must gloat, knowing that I cannot refuse, that which is destined cannot be denied. Indeed, the act has already been committed, and I am already to blame, but you will have your wish.
I shall do this, and my own soul shall be damned. I shall do this in exchange for the lives of the uncounted unborn. Okay. Good for you. There's a couple of weapons there, but it doesn't look like there's anything particularly interesting. Chilling wind blows through these empty halls. Look at this place. The wind whispers, "You will yet see, you will yet understand." And you will know despair. There's writing above the doorway. Those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. Those who ignore the future are doomed to be its prisoners. Yeah, I guess they had a lot of... the what? 6 men and the king had a lot of time on their hands. Jesus fuck, it's a massive complex fort that's basically mostly empty. Glorious is the memory of the Lord. Okay. Walk in my footsteps and you will begin to understand. Footsteps? Bloody footsteps. Okay, let's walk. Jarzak. Thus fell Jarzak, the king of giants. The Jantar horde fled before the Lord, and spawning enemies. Okay, let's spawn them all then. The king foresaw the Sardathian treachery. Barbarians, mercenaries. Who is one's greatest enemy? Wanderlust has recently lured you to enter human lands, and against your family's advice and your own better judgment, you plan to show these short-lived humans and filthy dwarves what a real elf is made of. So it's a shadow version of me. Feel free to continue fighting. I don't like the shadow version of me. It's potentially dangerous. Can't even target the fucker. Okay, just start shooting.
We'll strike you down or fall in the attempt.
They seem to be entertaining each other. That should give us time to operate. Any loot? No. Shitty gem. The eyes of these statues seem to follow you as you pass. This room seems comfortably furnished. This key has a single word written on it: choice. One key, two doorways. Which one will it be? Different clothes. Left or right? Is it you who makes the choice? Generous was his hospitality. The well is very old, but it has recently been oiled and appears to be in working order. You see nothing. You turn the winch until the bucket splashes into the water. You turn the winch until the bucket is raised. You can see that it's filled with a clear liquid. It looks like water. Well, this is usually not a good idea, but I'll taste it. It is water. It is cold and very refreshing. Arrows of the vampire. Meat. Fishies. 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 Massive amount of food. And recently maintained well, so you think someone's alive here. Mushrooms. So I suppose food. Water or a bathing area. Trees. Great was the Lord's learning. Dilemmas of prognostication, I think we read that already. The problems with prophecies in fortune telling. Dreamweavers, we've read that. Lord the Creator, I think this was part of another campaign. The sort of over god who doesn't really give a shit about his worshippers. Religions of men. Okay, it's from this campaign. Briefly describes the major religions practiced in the human nation of Belleria, Sardathia, and Akaban. These three regions share many deities, but each emphasizes some more than others. In the cities of Belleria, the major deity is the god Pallas, who is the patron of kings and paladins, the epitome of the honorable warrior. Temples of Pallas can be found in almost every city, but the greatest is the Grand Cathedral of Azelgard. Most of the people living outside the cities, however, worship Arundel, the goddess of the harvest. Other major Bellerian deities are Selene, the goddess of the moon, and Thulil, the goddess of the sun. In the kingdom of Sardathia, the religions of Thulil and Selene are much more significant, although Arundel is also popular among rural farmers. In addition, Sardathians worship the brother and sister deities Herm, the god of war, and Elur, the goddess of love. In Akaban, the religion of Liet, god of justice, dominates society, and other deities have few recognized temples. As in Belleria and Sardathia, many merchants worship the god Riul, who is their patron. Outside the major human settlements, there are several wild religions that have no recognized church. Among these is the worship of Elanae, goddess of nature, and Frenthel, god of luck. Right. Make a choice. Is this the same tablet? Left or right? Is it you who makes the choice? Maybe. Another massive level. Increasingly larger. I think I'll end things here. Continue some other time. Some choices are preordained and have never been free. You feel that the choice you just made had been made long ago. Right, so it's a lot of lessons about choices and history here. The path not taken had never existed. Your choice had been made long before you were born. Yeah, lessons of prophecy. You think you made a choice, but you didn't. Not really. This is quite strange. In the rooms above me, I was faced with a choice to go down the stairs on the left or the stairs on the right. I chose left, and now I see that the rightward stairs never existed. Was this place built already with the knowledge of the choice that I would make? Possible.